Those great champions will be joined today by one who will be left hoisting the Wimbledon trophy, a moment that will be recorded worldwide and by history. It is Roger Federer and Mark Philippoussis in the championship match. And a very friendly hello to everybody. Cliff Drysdale, Patrick McEnroe on a huge occasion. The world of tennis behind us. Wimbledon centre court. There is no greater stage, Patrick.
Well, this is really something. It's so many storylines for both of these players. For Mark Philippoussis, you know, one of the things we love in life is we love a second chance. And Mark Philippoussis, what an interesting place to realize that he had a second chance. 2 years ago, he was in a wheelchair after his second surgery, and he realized, in his own words, that I was a party boy, that I didn't live up to the expectations I had as a tennis player. And guess what he did? He found renewed commitment, and he finds himself here in the Wimbledon final. And for Roger Federer, to me, this is really the start for him. It's not the end of a road, it's a start. He is a true tennis Houdini. He's the modern day Houdini of men's tennis. He's earned respect in the smaller tournaments. Now he gets to see if he can have the respect that goes only to champions.
The Philippoussis story is a nice one, isn't it, Patrick? He's sitting there in Melbourne, Australia, which is hometown for him. He's had a couple of knee surgeries, waiting for a third. He's watching Andre Agassi win the Australian Open, and he says, I've had enough of this playboy thing. Let me get down to the business of tennis again. And he said last year he's going to win Wimbledon. Maybe it's just a year late.
Yeah, I guess so. But, you know, he found out what he was made of in the round of 16 here against none other than Andre Agassi, who came in as the top-ranked player in the world. And this was just a serving display. Philippoussis was down 2-1. He fought back. He had 46 aces, and he took out Andre Agassi in 5 sets. But that was just really the start against Alexander Pop, the German. Look at this get from Philippoussis. Break point down. 5-all in the 5th. This showed me the intensity of Mark Philippoussis, how badly he really wanted. He has been a man on a mission for this entire tournament. And in the semifinal, boy, he was cool, he was calm, he used his baseline game as well. And to me, that's been the big improvement from Philippoussis. Using those big weapons off the ground, of course, a big serve, and he's going to have everything clicking today against the Federer Express.
Obviously, he's got the power. The Federer story is somewhat different. As a matter of fact, Patrick, I was sitting down this morning and we were talking about it. When you really boil it down, since the modern era started, since open tennis really, has there been a player with more weapons, more variety than this man from Switzerland? And I cannot come up with one.
And in a way, that's what's kept him back so far. He's still only 21, but he has so many shots in his arsenal, and he had all of them on display against the young American Andy Roddick in the semifinal. This was absolute genius. Here was Roddick's only chance really in the match. Set point in the first set. He missed that forehand, and the last 2 sets were absolutely just remarkably magnificent tennis. I don't know how many adjectives I need to come up with the kind of tennis that Federer played. He did it from every part of the court. He did it from every angle in the court, every spin. His quickness is unbelievable. And the serve has been the big, solid factor in Roger Federer's game here at Wimbledon. He's served well. He's backed it up, of course. Look at that beautiful drop volley. He has a complete package. If he can serve well on this one and put pressure on Philippoussis' second serve, I believe Federer will win this match. I think he'll do it.
Patrick, I suppose it's unfortunate that we don't have a player from the USA in this championship match. We came very close, semi-finalists, but nevertheless, we have got a dynamic here and a match that I'm certainly looking forward to. I know very much, and I think everybody else is in England as well.
Well, it's a real, contrast in styles with the big hitting Philippoussis, the all-court game, the variety of Roger Federer. As I said, I think if Federer can put pressure on the Philippoussis serve, I think he'll win this match, and I think he'll do it in 4 sets. So there you have it.
Okay, Wimbledon championship is at stake here. Wimbledon centre court. It is Philippoussis and Federer. Centre court at Wimbledon, the 2003 Gentlemen's Championship. It's Roger Federer and Mark Philippoussis. Best of 5 set final Venus Williams in a very solid effort yesterday, especially in the first set against Serena, but Serena wins another slam, so she's beaten her now, her sister 5 times. The question is about Roger Federer and whether his dream form can continue.
Well, he won the warm-up tournament for Wimbledon, one of the warm-up tournaments in Germany. So he's 11-0 on grass. Roddick was 10-0 going into that semifinal with Federer. You see his record in the slams. Of course, he had that win over Pete Sampras a couple of years ago, but in the last 2 years, inexplicably went out in the opening round. Mark Philippoussis from Australia was living in Miami area for a while, which he said was problematic for him because he has too much fun. And he moved out to Southern California. Now he surfs every morning.
He says he surfs 3 or 4 hours a day, works out for a couple of hours a day, according to him anyway. He thinks the surfing helps him with his fitness. But he has changed his lifestyle, and that's one of the keys here today.
He really didn't live up to his potential as a youngster. We knew he had it all with his big serving game and his power off the ground.
London is jam-packed with Australians, and they will be out in full force. In fact, we've had 3 different Australians here in the final in 4 years.
There's Patrick Rafter, 2 straight years, and then Leighton Hewitt, the winner last year. They played 3 times. Federer leads 2-1. Last meeting was on clay, which Philippoussis won.
First point.
Well, the power game on full display on the opening point. Philippoussis went straight at Federer on that passing shot as if to send a little message. Here's what I have to offer. Oh. It just seems like this man from Switzerland has so much time on every shot. Beautiful balance. Preparation on every swing is out of a textbook.
Federer has won tournaments on 4 different surfaces this year already.
Usually it takes players years to do that. He's done it just in 6 months, 7 months. You know, in the semifinal that Federer played against Andy Roddick, Roddick was only able to hit 4 aces in that match because of Federer's ability to read the serve, and Federer himself had 18 aces.
See, I think that is such an important statistic for this match, because if he can read Philippoussis like he read Roddick, Philippoussis is in trouble. And his volley game, Patrick, is not just a game where he hits a great approach shot and the volley is a formality.
No, he can, I mean, and you saw just in that point his anticipation. Whoa! It's as if Federer knows what shot's coming back every time, and he's there before his opponent even swings at it. Oh, there's the power of Mark Philippoussis.
The scud, the animal, flipper. He's had all sorts of nicknames.
Federer just gonna get out of the way of this thing.
Game Federer.
First game goes to the man from Switzerland, Roger Federer, who ultimately has the edge.
Well, it's tight in the ground stroke volley department. I gave the slight edge to Federer because he's quicker. He has more variety. Philippoussis has improved his volleys. His better fitness is helping there. The serve I give to Philippoussis, obviously he's served so many aces, but it's not like Federer's not serving well. The return, Federer again, the movement, have to give to the man from Switzerland. The intangibles I give to Philippoussis, that maybe he wants it just a little bit more. I mean, we know that Federer is going to be there many, many times in the future on any surface potentially. Philippoussis, this may be his one big opportunity, a la Ivan Isavic a couple years ago. It's not to say that certainly Philippoussis can be a factor, especially here at Wimbledon the next couple of years.
Excuse me, did somebody roll the tape back about 10 years? What's all this serve and volley suddenly
15 love.
on centre court?
Haven't seen that much of it, as you can tell by how the court is worn out. Almost entirely dirt around the baseline. And still pretty green up there around the service line.
30 love.
Better not give Federer a look on the pass.
30-15. $40-15.
165 aces during the fortnight. Over 50% of his serves haven't come back. That's a lot of cheapies. There's another one.
One game more first set.
One game more.
Federer's road to the Wimbledon final has been pretty routine. Got young Tyke Lee in straights, Kubek, Marty Fish, the young American who played well here at Wimbledon. It's the only player that's able to take a set. Lopez from Spain, Schalken, the Dutchman, had a foot problem. And then Roddick in the semis.
15 love, one game more.
15 love.
Pete Sampras, after 31 consecutive victories at Wimbledon dating back to '97 and 56 wins in 57 matches going all the way back to '93, lost to Federer in 2001 here on this court. The English were saying the king is dead, long live the king. Well, maybe the coronation is today.
$30-15.
The first set is going to be so key in this particular match, because when Federer wins a first set, he's essentially unbeatable. And after he won that first set against Andy Roddick, you could just see Federer loosen up a little bit more, and the pressure build on the Roddick game. Federer just dissected the big hitting American.
Game Federer.
2-1 Federer on serve, first set, championship match, center court at Wimbledon. Roger Federer leading 2-1. We're on serve in the first set. Philippoussis has had his challenges and he's introspective about his career.
You know, sometimes I could sit down and when I was, after my third surgery and say, you know what, I've been so unlucky, in my tennis life, because personally I'm a very lucky person. I have a family who loves me and they're healthy and so I'm blessed. But on a tennis side, I felt like I was a little unlucky, and you know, I just felt like, you know, when's the luck going to come my side? But then, you know, I thought about it and I was like, you know, that's a wrong approach to have. You know, you've got to make your own luck. And that's just the way I've been thinking about it. I've been working hard and, you know, you can't just sit around and expect things to happen. You've got to make them happen. So I definitely say, you know, people are in charge of making their own destiny.
Philippoussis' dad had cancer 3 times, told he had 6 months to live. That was 6 years ago. Now he's coaching Mark, and it's a rather poignant story that the two of them are again father, son, and player coach. He's free of cancer now and completely healthy, says this guy.
Can Federer create his own power out of nowhere, but he handles
15 all.
Power from opponents so well as he did off that overhead. An absolute genius with that racket.
(30-15).
Good smart serve there by Philippoussis, going into the body of Roger Federer. He's got to keep Federer guessing about the location of his serve. One of the things that Federer said he was able to do against Roddick was read his serve. Said he actually could tell where it was going, and that's why Roddick only had 4 aces. That's where I think this match is going to be won or lost there, and that second serve of Philippoussis. He's not as agile as Federer, and if Federer can step in as he did there and make the big guy have to move to that first volley, Philippoussis is going to be in all sorts of trouble.
Let's first service.
.126 mile an hour.
40-30. Deuce.
Both players coming out, hitting the ball relatively cleanly. It's high quality already. That's good, solid net play there from Philippoussis. Had to come up with a tough first volley.
Advantage Philippoussis.
That's an improved part of his game, that ability to make the first volley, get good position at net. Trust me, if you don't hit that first volley close to the baseline, Federer will stay at 2-all in the 5th, and then a much easier road against the Frenchman Grosjean, who have taken out Tim Henman and Juan Carlos Ferrero.
$30
Federer is from Basel or Basel, take your pick, Switzerland. German is the main language. It's Swiss German that they speak there. It's not exactly the same as German, but it's close.
Well, this is how Federer was serving against Roddick, and that put more and more pressure on Roddick as the match went on. Oh, he's in a serious groove on that first serve.
On serve 3-2, Federer first set. Federer and Philippoussis 3-2 from Henman Hill. Wait a second, it's not Henman Hill anymore. You know, the Australians, as I said, there's so many of them here in London, they're all mad, these guys, and they're out there enjoying a few tinnies. It's Mount Philippoussis now.
They've been there for about 3.5 hours and absolutely packed out there. You can see the Aussie flags and a wonderful environment.
Any excuse for a party.
Yeah, particularly when one of their guys is playing. Peter Lundgren there is a coach for Roger Federer, former player from Sweden.
Obviously a very good friend of Federer's as well. He stuck with him from an early stage of Federer's career. On serve 2-3.
Love 15.
Well, that second serve there, he went for an 120-mile-an-hour second serve. And Philippoussis will do that, but that is very precarious against the man on the other side to give him some free points.
Well, that's why when you said last time he was serving, Patrick, that second serve was going to be really important, he'd sort of thrown in for him a half-paced serve. And I thought at the time, you're going to see a lot more of those 120-mile-an-hour second serves from him. I think he's going to have to. We'll see. Missed it.
Just barely wide as Federer showing his speed and his ability to create. You must remember I called him the modern-day tennis Houdini. Almost pulled that off. And Federer chips this ball, again, a body serve from Philippoussis, and he just rips this ball, blasts it. He has worked so hard, Philippoussis, on getting those legs strong so that he can hold up the 3 surgeries on the knee.
3 games all, first set.
Unseeded Wimbledon finalist Chris Lewis, who got destroyed by my brother John. Boris Becker, who of course won the title. Our buddy Mal Washington went down to Richard Krajicek. Pioline lost to Pete Sampras. Ivan Isavic, the winner, and now Philippoussis this year. Oh, what a pickup.
They have both started out
15 love.
just like they wanted to. Something has got to finally give.
Love.
Federer was the world junior champion in '98.
Again, Federer just moves through every shot.
40 love.
Such a grace the way he cut into that volley.
Out. 40-15.
That one sails and Federer holds. 4-3 on serve first set. If tennis history is your thing, you can go to the Tennis Museum here on the grounds of the All England Club, Wimbledon. 4-3, Roger Federer leading. This man from Switzerland understands that his match today is going to be different from the match that he played against Roddick.
He's going to follow his serve, and he's got I would say a flatter serve. You know, Andy's ball bounces higher, so maybe you cannot take a step back against Andy. Against Mark, you got to stay maybe closer to the baseline. I still have to figure that out, and it's going to be different returning also for me. Probably won't be enough to chip it like I did against Andy. So I mean, I just have to adjust, and hopefully I get chances to on the second shot to pass him.
That is the big question, is whether he's going to get chances on the second shot. 3 aces already, 10 out of 18 serves unreturned. Pretty good number against Federer.
Well, that time he went after the return a little bit more. He's been content to block them back to try to chip them. But what Federer's talking about is taking the ball a little bit earlier than he did against Roddick, because he knew that Roddick wasn't going to follow his serve into the net. So he could stand a little further back and just chip it back deep. He didn't have to make sure the ball was low. But it's harder to do that when you're further back, receiving a serve like Philippoussis when your opponent's coming to net. You can't just pop it up and let it sit up there for the easy volley. So you see Federer's position right there. He's a little bit closer to the baseline. And again, as I mentioned earlier, Philippoussis is doing a great job of going into the body of Federer, and he hasn't done that often in this tournament, so he's made the adjustment. And how will Federer combat that?
30-15.
Combated it pretty well there. That time Philippoussis went into the body, but it was on the forehand side.
30 all.
Federer was able to lean out of the way, and it's Philippoussis that's at 30 all again on his serve.
You think Federer's backhand is more vulnerable than his forehand?
Slightly. It's pretty hard to find a weakness in his game. But I think if you pressure his backhand and you get it over there so that he has to rush it, he has more trouble on that side, yeah. That's what Philippoussis needs on those big points, and believe me, 30 all at 3-4 in the first set is a big point. Look at that serve.
30.
138 miles an hour. That bomb up the middle. That's why you heard a little hush, some murmurs from the crowd.
Another big one that gets a reply, but the point goes to Philippoussis.
Well, the strengths and weaknesses on the grass. Federer, the athleticism, the variety, his forehand, and it's hard to find a weakness, as I said, with the backhand pass. It's the only thing I could come up with. Philippoussis, his serve is power, and his improved fitness. The weaknesses, his inconsistency, which he's improved, and his mobility, which has been evident today. That time he muscles that return up the line. He doesn't need to be as mobile, though, as Federer, because he has so much firepower. And if he gets in position, look out.
And look at Philippoussis make the adjustment also there. He's way back, or was way back, for the get that first serve from Federer. Now he's closer.
And that's not a bad idea from Philip, even though he missed it. Send the message to Federer that I'm going to try to attack your second serve.
Federer is tough to intimidate, but he can get down on himself.
30-15.
We've seen that often. Cannot imagine it happening in a Wimbledon final. Did you see that forehand volley, the first one? Little change up direction.
Little inside out.
40-15.
Moving through it, just incredible hands. But there we saw where Philippoussis struggles in mobility department, the ability to change directions quickly.
Game, Federer.
Roger Federer holds. No breaks of serve. No break points against serve yet in this men's singles final. 5-4 first set. This is good stuff. They're pretty crazy. As I said, any reason for a party. Switzerland so different. And in Switzerland, they say that Roger is different from Martina Hingis, who was a native of the Slovak Republic. He's really ours. He's the guy from next door. He was a ball boy in Basel at the tournament there. So the Swiss feel a little more proprietary toward him than they do Martina.
That was Nick Philippoussis, Mark's dad there. And this match starting at 11 p.m. Australia time, at least in Melbourne and Sydney, in that part of the country. And Channel 9 network going live to Australia. Extremely excited about this match, obviously. Fiery one, your old partner, Fred Zali. I talked to him this morning as we see Philippoussis hit the biggest serve of the his fastest serve of the tournament. That drops in, that they actually interrupted the footy show, the Australian rules football show. That's like interrupting the NFL to show one of Philippoussis' matches.
What time did he say it was out in Australia?
11 p.m.
Oh,
is the start for this match.
Just time for a few tinnies and sit down and enjoy. .30-15 Philippoussis.
Incredibly, Cliff,
30-15.
and why Philippoussis is in the first set still is that his first serve percentage is 85% so far. And it's not like he's spinning it in. Ace number 5,
40-15.
Philippoussis.
His average MPH 124 mile an hour average.
At 86%.
Yes. Game point.
Leighton Hewitt, the winner last year at Wimbledon, joining this list.
5 games all, first set.
Wimbledon champions from Australia.
Ashley Cooper, Pat Cash, Crawford, Emerson, Neil Fraser, the lefty, Rod Laver, 2-time slam winner, Lou Hode, some say the greatest of all.
John Newcomb, who's here doing the commentary, back to Australia as well.
15 love. Love. Love.
So hard to read Federer's serve. You could see Philippoussis leaning towards the middle there. And Federer just slid it out wide.
Federer's got more aces than Philippoussis.
Yeah, there's another one. And he's had absolutely no trouble on serve.
Philippoussis to serve at 5-6 first set when we come back. Roger Federer leading 6-5. Philippoussis to serve here first set on center court.
Talking about Mark Philippoussis' first serves, Cliff, and shot spot. Tell us a couple of things about it. Of course, he's got 5 aces, a 127 out wide. These are all of his first serves. So he's been moving it around the box pretty well. And with so much speed, you know, the depth isn't as important, but it's the direction. He's close to the center line. And then remember, a couple of body serves he's thrown in for good measure. And moving it around nicely. Ooh, that's a nice looking one. 134 out there. And the radar gun, of course, usually comes up a little bit slower on the wide serve, so that's large. And again, Cliff, I mean, this is the way he's going to have to play. I don't know if he can keep it up.
He has to.
Yeah, he does. And I think he knows that, as you said. They're going for another monster second serve. That's his second double fault.
118-mile-an-hour second serve attempt. Wide.
Oh, it's artistry right there. The return chips across court down low. And when he has time on the forehand, I mean, watch the racket speed. Look at the quick feet, the steps, and that incredible acceleration with the racket. It's not just power from Federer, it's the spin he puts on the ball.
Love 30.
That ball dipped so quickly. Philippoussis had no chance.
You said when he has time on the forehand. I would say when he has time, period.
Anything.
Huge point. Love 35-6.
Philippoussis with a smart volley going behind Federer. Make him change direction, and you wonder why Philippoussis is feeling pressure now? Look at Federer's record when he wins the first set, 46-1 this year. That's front running. Another second serve under pressure, 15-30. Oh, did he get away with one there?
That one got up.
Yeah, he got it up high. Federer knows that was a big opportunity, and maybe it was the changeup that fooled him. Only 95-mile-an-hour second serve. Federer was way out in front of that.
You take it easy on Federer, please, Patrick. He's made, according to our statistician, one unforced error.
This is grass court tennis. Andre Agassi had a couple of opportunities to break Philippoussis in the fifth set on second serve returns. Didn't make him.
Game point now.
Well done by the Australian.
That's 4 in a row from Love 30. Big turnaround in the tie break. First to 7, 2-point lead. Wins the first set of this championship match at Wimbledon. It's between the Australian Mark Philippoussis, unseeded, and someone that everyone had been talking about for a long time as never having made his true mark in a slam tournament. Here he is in the Wimbledon final.
Great play by Philippoussis. Jumped on that second serve, and the chip was just inside the line.
That's long. Traded many breaks in the tie break, one apiece.
1-all. Let's first service. Philippoussis.
Philippoussis has 18 unreturned serves in this first set. Even the camera guy's got to give the balls back.
1-2.
First service. Two all.
Point of the match so far.
Man, even the Aussie has to clap on that one. That's about as good as Philippoussis can play from the back of the court.
Three-two, Federer.
And Federer had the answers.
Both playing it pretty cool there in the middle of that point, not wanting to go for the big one. The tension of a tiebreak.
Three all.
Pretty clean looking match so far, Cliff.
We haven't seen anything.
38 winners to 5 unforced errors.
This is the Wimbledon final, but we haven't seen a cleaner match all tournament. I mean, I would have thought that a Wimbledon final would bring out some nervous play, little tension, but not so. Tension maybe, but character of the match has been brilliant.
Two big serves from Philippoussis.
4-3, Philippoussis.
As he continues to serve at a remarkably high percentage of first serves, 82%. Missed it. Oh, he had it lined up.
Well, he hit a couple of pretty good shots before that too. That half volley from Federer off the baseline, basically.
Philippoussis had pushed him back with that depth on the backhand side. 4 all. That response from Federer, who felt, as Roger's girlfriend looks on, he felt that Philippoussis was looking to chip and charge, which is exactly what he wanted to do. That's the passing shot. So Federer decided to serve volley on his second serve and had to come up with a tough one there. Philippoussis just missing wide.
Roger's girlfriend, WTA pro Miroslava Vavrinek, the Swiss, by way of the Slovak Republic.
Second service.
There was a little bit of tension in that swing.
and dies by the sword. And that double fault
6-4,
gives Federer set points.
Remember that forehand that Roddick missed on his own set point that essentially cost him a chance in the match. That may have cost Philippoussis a chance.
— 6-5, Federer.
Set point, Federer's serve.
Big sigh of relief from her.
Philippoussis trying to run around the backhand side, the error, and Federer's got the set.